Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Tuesday. Yesterday, we talked about the command that Moses gave to God's people in Deuteronomy chapter 6. The Lord our God is one God, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength. Today, I want us to go one step further. I want us to read on in that passage and realize what it takes to build a spiritual heritage in your home and in your family. After all, that's what Israel was being called to do as they entered this new land. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 6 says, "These words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children. You shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up." You see, the picture is if we really love the Lord supremely, then we will keep these words in our heart. And that's not just a command in the Bible. That they're not just verses that we read. It's not just something that we can quote from memory. They become a standard by which we live. If I love the Lord supremely, it will make a difference. And when we put them deep in our heart, that is within the realm of all decision making in a person's life, I'm going to love the Lord my God with all my heart and soul and strength. That's going to make some decision making a lot easier. After all, what would God do? Or what would God have me do in this instance? And what is most pleasing to Him? You know, I love my wife, and sometimes I just have to consider what would be most pleasing to her. What would she love? What can I do that would please her? And that's the way we look at this passage when we talk about loving God. Then he turns to building a spiritual heritage in your family. And he says, you need to teach these things diligently to your children. Now, I realize you could have a Sunday school class every day where you sit around and talk about these things. Hopefully, you realize that much of what is taught to children is actually taught by example in the first place. So rather than having that Sunday school, maybe we should just show our children by the things that we do what it looks like in my life to love God. You choose actions that would be pleasing to God. You tell your children why you made those choices and what God would like out of our lives. He says you should talk about these things when you sit in your house and when you walk by the way. Have you ever noticed how talking to children has become a lost art? Partly because they put those things in their ears and they don't know anybody else is around them. Or maybe they become so engrossed in their phone and that's all they're looking at all the time and you can't talk to them. We need to spend some time talking to our children. We need to spend some time telling them about this command to love the Lord and talk about what that looks like in our lives every day. He said, when you lie down, when you rise up. We have this wonderful tradition when we're together with our grandchildren. We have a big sleepover in the living room. And with 7 grandchildren, sometimes it's a big sleepover. But we love to talk about things when we lay down at night. Matter of fact, we have to go to bed early so we can talk about a lot of things before it's really time to go to sleep. Talk with your children. Talk to them about the Lord and talk to them about some things that God has done in your life lately. Remind them that God is working in their life too. As a matter of fact, when we talk to them about the Lord, we ought to be able to talk to them about a Bible passage that we read that day. Maybe something that stuck out in our daily devotion. You know, we talk about everything that is on our minds, but we seldom talk about what is on our heart. If you love the Lord your God with all your heart, you're going to talk about it. And you need to share that with your children and your family, your grandchildren. Let's build a spiritual heritage. God said this will keep you when you go into that new land.